Good morning and welcome to the Kindergarten Weekly Updates. In kindergarten, students learn through hands-on activities in different learning centers. We also focus on the 8 learning styles of children, and some of that are the logical reasoning skills, kinesthetic skills, basically where they are actually doing a lot of movements, and even tactile where they are touching and they are understanding. So this is how the lessons are planned in kindergarten classroom. In music lessons, students visit the music room and they explore different musical instruments, and they also learn action songs. In PE time, they go to the outdoor or the indoor learning area and they do different activities which helps them to build their gross motor skills like catching or throwing a ball, and even in pre-KG they explored a parachute game this week. In academics, KG1 students learn about body parts and identified different sense organs. This week, few classes focused on sense of hearing and on sense of sight. We continue the same next week as a reinforcement. In sense of hearing, they were made to listen to different sounds and identify the object, animal or instrument that makes the sound. They had to sort objects that also make sound or don't make sound. They made their own shakers and they explored during the sense of hearing lesson. In sense of sight, they identified places around UAE and also played a memory game. In numeracy, they continued the concept of sets. In phonics, they learned the new sound and d. In KG2, students continued to learn tens and ones in the numeracy lesson. They wrote numbers 31 to 40 in their notebooks using hands-on objects like counters and manipulators. In UW, students are doing STEAM activity and exploring the topic of objects and materials. In phonics this week, they revised the ch, sh and th digraphs and wrote words in their notebook as well. Students need some support when they are writing bigger words, but let them do phonetically. We are always teaching phonetically to decode the words in classroom, which helps students to enhance their phonic skills as well as the writing skills. We are not focusing on the spelling at the moment. In literacy lessons, students learned to identify the characters and settings of the story, and they also were able to describe the characters using different vocabulary. In pre-KG, students learned body percussion sound. They understood that different parts of a body can be used to create different sounds like clapping, stomping and things like that, and they really enjoyed that lesson. In pre-KG, in UOW, students were introduced to the topic of healthy food. They identified food which is healthy for them and which is not healthy for them. They were also introduced to different fruits and vegetables, and they could identify looking at the pictures. In numeracy, they learned number 2 and they did a lot of hands-on activities for the same topic. Next week, we plan to have Literacy Week for KG1 and KG2 students. The circular is shared on Horizon. Please read and prepare your students for the same. Thank you so much for listening to me. Have a wonderful weekend.